In this session, we want to talk about DFS replication. In our previous session, we installed the DFS system, we created a namespace, and we created folder targets. The situation that we have here is that we have a share in the Trinidad server called share 1, and we also have a copy of that share in the Guyana server. What we want to do is to keep the data synchronized between these shares, because one is simply a copy of the other. If there are changes made to share 1, insertions, deletions, new files, those changes need to be replicated to the share 1 on the Guyana server. DFS replication uses a new compression algorithm called remote differential compression, known as RDC. What RDC does is it detects insertions, removals, and rearrangement of data in files, enabling DFSR, distributed file system replication, to replicate only the changes. So for example, if we made changes to share 1, there are files in share 1 that we made changes to, we made insertions, we made deletions, removals, rearrangement of data. What is going to happen is only the data in the file that has been changed is going to be replicated to the share 1 folder on the Guyana server. And the differential compression protocol, which is a client-server protocol, is what's going to make this happen. Only the changes are going to be replicated. This is especially useful when replicating files over a limited bandwidth network, such as a wide area network connection. DFS replication also use what we refer to as a staging folder. The sending member, the member that has the data, will have a staging folder. The receiving member, the server that is going to receive the replicated data, also has a staging folder. The sending member begins staging a file when it receives a request from the receiving member. What does this process entail? It involves reading the file from the replicated folder and building a compressed representation of the file in the staging folder. And this file is called the staged file. So when changes are made to a particular file, those changes do not go directly to the Guyana server. First of all, they go to the staging folder on that server. If you have remote differential compression turned on, only the changes that were made on that file will leave that staging folder and go to the Guyana server in the staging folder. When that data reaches the staging folder in the Guyana folder, that data is then decompressed and installed on the replication folder on the Guyana server. So each replicated folder has its own staging folder, which by default is located under the local path of the replicated folder. We now want to take a look at configuring replication groups. So we want to right-click on replication and select New Replication Group. We have a choice here of 2 replication groups to create: multi-purpose replication group or a replication group for data collection. If we choose the multi-purpose replication group, then we're going to be opting to configure replication between 2 or more servers for publication, content sharing, and other scenarios. If we choose replication group for data collection, then we're only going to be replicating between 2 servers, such as the branch office server and the hub or destination server. If you make this option, it allows you to collect data at the hub server. We want to choose replication group for data collection for our lab exercise, and we want to click next to continue. We need now to enter a name for the replication group, and the name that we enter must be unique in the domain that hosts the replication group. So we're going to call the group Sales Replication Group. And remember that we need to install DFS Replication on both servers. That will be included in the replication group. So let's go ahead and give the name Sales LES Replication CATION group. We want to click on next to continue. And we have to enter the name of the server that contains the content that we want to replicate to the hub server, which is the destination server. So we're going to browse for that. Advanced, find now. And we want to choose server 1 as the other server in the replication group. So we're going to click OK. OK to close the select computer box and click on next to continue. We now need to specify the replicated folders that we want to replicate from the source server, which is the brand server, to the hub server, the destination server. We want to click on add, and we want to browse for those folders. The first folder that we're going to pick up is the sales info folder. We want to click on that folder, select OK, and OK a second time. We're going to use the name, or if we want, we can create a custom name. For our exercise, we're going to leave the name Sales Info 1. Click on OK. I want to add the other 2 folders. sales info 2 and sales info 3. So we're going to browse to pick them up. It's 2. I'm going to pick up the last folder, sales info 3, by browsing for it. Click the down arrow here, pick up sales info 3, and click on OK. OK to close. So now we have the 3 folders that we want to replicate from the brand server to the destination server, and we want to click on next to continue. Then we need to enter the name of the destination server. We want to enter the name of the destination server where we will collect the replicated folders for backup or other purposes. And this is typically the hub server. So we're going to browse and pick that server up. And that would be the DC server. Click on next to continue. We want to enter the local part of the target folder on the destination server. So we're going to browse. Scroll down. And the target folder, sales data. So we're going to click on the sales data folder and say OK. Want to click on next to continue. So we have the target folder and we have the links for that target folder. Next, we want to look at choosing the schedule and the bandwidth for the replication. We can use the full bandwidth as shown here, or we can click the down arrow and we can select any other bandwidth that we choose. For our scenario here, we're going to leave the full bandwidth. We also have the option of replicating during specified days and times. And to do that, we would click on replicate here. We would select the times, whether Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the days and the times. And we also need to select the bandwidth usage. We've made our selection here, and we want to select full bandwidth usage here and click on OK. Want to click next to continue. And to create the replication group, we need to confirm our settings, look at the settings that we have, and then click on create to create the replication group. And we can see that we have successfully completed the new replication group. We want to click on close. We will get a message saying that replication will not begin until the configuration is picked up by the members of the replication group. We can simply click on OK at this point. We want to take a look on where we would configure remote differential compression. We're going to expand replication, and we're going to double click on the replication group. We want to right click on the sending member and click on properties. Under the general tab, you can see here that we have 2 options. Use remote differential compression, which is on by default. So if you want to deselect it, if you want to take that off, you will have to untick that selection. We also have the checkbox for enabling replication on this connection under the General tab. We can also schedule on this particular connection in this property box by clicking on Schedule. We see here that we can configure a custom replication schedule, or we can view the replication schedule that we had configured. We want to click on OK to cancel that box. This is the end of our session on creating the replication group. In our next session, we're going to take a closer look at remote differential compression and staging folders. I want to thank you for listening.